what does lead from the heart mean to you?
Do what you want to do, not what other people tell you to do. Because there's lead from the heart, so it's actually lead from your heart.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that's because outside influences, as you're listening to Moira and Deborah to get some golden nuggets, can perk you up, can take you down, can make you sideways, can immobilize you.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely a great thing about feedback, listening to people for feedback, but do what is right for you.
Debz is a stressologist. She will stretch your mindset to think bigger than you've ever thought before, with follow-through techniques that are realistic and achievable to blow any fear out of your mind. Moira is a mindset cultivator. She will help you align your personal trinity of self-trust, inner awareness, and self-confidence so that you discover and share your unique gifts and purpose. Together, their goal with these conversations is to share how our inclinations do not always work in our best interest and to provide the knowledge to leverage the gifts that already exist within each one of us. Their desire is to help you learn how to access the habits and behaviors that will lead to positive change and your best quality of life. Welcome to your deliciously motivated mindset.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, dear Deb. Welcome, dear listeners. Hi, Deb. How are you?
Hello.
Hello. Oh, you sound so regal and royal today.
Oh, yeah. I was just fooling the listeners.
Here we are, favorite time of the week, with another one of our deliciously motivated mindset conversations with Debz. That would be you.
Me?
That's you. And me, Moira. So according to Deb, I'm the one that has an accent and she doesn't.
You have such a strong accent. Who's got the strongest accent?
We should start a poll. Okay, listeners, you have to let us know who has the strongest accent.
Who's harder to understand? Who talks the most crap? Who talks?
Oh dear.
Let's not do this poll.
Oh dear. Judging by the topic we're talking today is like, oh, that's just going down some kind of rabbit hole that this doesn't
we're not going to do. No. Yeah, exactly.
No. Before we get into our topic today, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation because it's kind of how I roll. Yeah, we both do this one. I love this one a lot. But before we roll our sleeves up and get into the conversation, if you've listened to our episodes before, you know that we like to rate ourselves, just as this little assessment tool to just check in. How are you doing? How are you feeling? How are you feeling in your body, emotionally? How's your thinking process, and how are you feeling as a spiritual being? And we rate ourselves on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 is totally peaceful, calm, zen, poised. And 10 is, oh my God, chaos. Everything's falling apart and I don't know what to do. And I don't know what, where, why, how, all of that. And we move up and down.
And can I just say the what, where, how? Those questions are very heavy when you're in that pickle. Yes. The whole,
and they tend to come at a staccato kind of right?
It's like falling on a cactus tree.
Yeah.
It's like all of them, and it feels like pulling one off. Yeah. Anyway, I was just like, oh yeah, I know those ones. Yeah.
We've all been there. But here's the thing, and this is why the intent of this is to help you recognize that we all move up and down that. But it's by having the awareness that you can then start being a little bit more loving and kind to your own self and getting the gifts out of even the chaotic moments. That's an important part too, right?
Yes. Those moments. Yes.
So all that being said, my dear, where would you put yourself?
1.5.
Okay.
Because I actually feel all right, although it's a little bit cold. I opened the door for the dogs. Bloody dogs. Cold a little bit.
Chilly.
Yeah, I'm going to say a 1.5 because I feel this conversation will absolutely move me to a 0, but I don't feel closer to a. I still feel my head is very busy.
Okay,
it's a busy head. So I'm actually saying 1.5, and I'm not saying a 2 because it just feels like, oh no, there's a few things actually in order in my mind. So I'm going to say 1.5. Anyway, that whole saga, 1.5.
So, and similar reasoning, I'm putting myself at a 1, but similar to that things are quietening down. I know that we're both going to end up at 0 at the end of this one.
Oh, if we don't,
then we just derailed it.
We just stopped. Yeah, we'll just stop doing all our podcasts because we can't get ourselves to a 0 on this. Joking, everybody.
So, dear listeners, we encourage you to note what you're feeling now, and then at our halfway point, we have a little pause in the middle. Just check to see how you're feeling, and make a note of that, and then make a note at how you're feeling at the end. But we also encourage you to have a writing utensil to make notes, because we like to make notes and share little pointers and tips, and this is all about...
Okay, I've got my pen. Yeah.
Deb's such a sweetheart. She's great at capturing some of the nuggets and tips that we come up with in our conversation. But all that to say, this one feels just such a warm, loving blanket to say, lead from the heart. That's what we're talking about. Lead from the heart. Why don't you kick us off with this one? What does lead from the heart mean to you?
Do what you want to do, not what other people tell you to do. Because there's lead from the heart. So it's actually lead from your heart.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that's because outside influences, as you're listening to Moira and Debz to get some golden nuggets, can perk you up, can take you down, can make you sideways, can immobilize you. So there's definitely a great thing about feedback, listening to people for feedback, but do what is right for you.
Yeah. Not
what other people, I can give you 2 suggestions. I can say, if you're in a frazzle, I can say, okay, why don't you write things you're grateful for, or think of things you're grateful for? And someone might go, oh my God, that's an amazing idea. Great. I might suggest that to someone else who goes, oh, that's just a crock. I'm never going to be able to do that. That's just stupid. Don't even know if I've got a pen. I can't think of one thing that's valuable in my world.
Right.
So you have to do what's best for you. What works for you at that time.
Yeah. I think from what you're saying, that I think it's very important to open ourselves up to other people's opinions, to reading books, to doing courses, to pulling cards, to having readings or mentors, etc. Like there's a plethora of avenues and channels that we can get information. But I think, and this is how I do it, is that I'm actually a voracious reader and always got probably 2 or 3 courses on the go at any one time. But when I'm doing that, I also create space to just reflect. Does this resonate? Does this click? Is this something that I'm taking in and sort of putting into my own way of being or way of thinking or way of speaking, and giving myself the opportunity to discard the things that don't.
Yeah. And I think that's a great thing. It's that decluttering, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I meant to be writing notes, isn't I?
Decluttering. That's the perfect way of doing it, right? So, I can think of a time many, many years ago, I actually trained in a healing modality. And it meant that I had to listen to all these audios, I had to attend a 3-day workshop, and I had to do all these different practices. And I do all this kind of stuff seriously. But then right at the very end, something went a little off for me that actually dispelled everything that I had just gone through over this whole period of time. And I went, okay, it's actually none of it is going to be carried forward by me, because it was a gift in that it was a great experience to go through. But then right at the end, when I did my sort of debrief and feel into, does this resonate with me? Does this fill my heart? Does this help me feel like I am leading from my own heart wisdom? The answer was no. And I had to say, that's it.
I just went to look at on my computer, and you have these 3 questions on my
Yes.
You know the questions I'm going to say. Is this good for me?
Is this good for me?
Is this good for others? And do I want it?
That's right. That's right.
And
the 3 questions.
And all 3 have to be a yes.
That's right.
They don't have to be a hell yes. They just have to be a yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Because if and to your point, if any of them is a no, you're actually giving away your power and buying into some other agenda, right?
Yeah. I'm just going to write this down.
Just 3 questions, because and that actually also is the other part of that is, how does this make me feel about me? You've heard me saying that one too, because that one's separate from these 3 questions, because that's a very specific thing that you're asking for yourself. But how does this make me feel about me? So in my story that I just told you about the healing modality I trained in, and then at the end of it, how does this make me feel about me? It made me feel controlled, manipulated, and being told how to operate in the healing.
You need to do it this way. And then it's like, wow, that's not how I run.
No, exactly.
And I think that thing is having the confidence of, even if you start something, it's going to be that, having that confidence, just saying, is this a story or is this true?
Yes.
Because the other thing is, you may go, oh, I've done this. My pattern is I get 75% through a course and then go, this is not for me, and I pull out.
Right.
If that's your pattern, then there's clearly something going on. If it's I was going to say irregular. If it's a regular thing,
regular, repeated.
Yes. If this is a repeated pattern, then there's clearly something going on. So when you sign up for a course, you're already going, oh, I'm only going to do 75%, and I get my or whatever. If that is you, but so just be aware of those past stories and patterns that come in. But if you're feeling icky right from, what was I just talking about? I was talking about something before we went on air about being in flow.
Yeah, we were talking about being in flow. Oh, about how you settling into your new environment.
Yeah, and that. Oh, yeah. So one of the things is we had a bed.
Yeah,
I've got 2 spare beds, and I don't know if I even finished the conversation with you, Moira.
Maybe you didn't.
I don't even know if we did. So the bed parts were missing, which was odd. So we're dealing with that. And then when we went and bought new bed parts, they were the wrong ones. And so we were like, oh, for goodness sake, and then we went and returned those, and then got another one, and we had measured wrong. So we're now 4 times trying to put this bed together. And so in the end, I just said, let's not do the bed. Let's leave the bed for another day when our brains are all, just for the record, I was not even doing anything for the bed. I'm not going to make a bed. Like, I can make a bed, but I'm not going to put the bed together, I'm just going to say. So I was definitely the overseer. So I was left with, this is not flowing. Let's just stop. And when we do build the bed, or when everyone else builds the bed, it's going to be perfect. And it was a perfect time, because when we did build the bed, we had all the parts, everything. And as it was, my mother-in-law stayed the night because it was late, And so we knew that the bed was fitted together. Now, she's a tiny lady anyway, but it was perfect. And it was perfect timing, because she put the bed together. So she got to lie in it first, and it flowed so easily.
That's beautiful.
Prior to that, there was so much stagnation to, let's get this going. Oh, this is not working. If we'd pushed through it, we would have got it done, but you don't know what's going to happen at the other end.
Well, you don't, because you would pushing through, you could have ended up having a whole bunch of pissed off people around you.
Well, we were, yes, but we were also left with, let's just put this bed part on and it's going to be a little bit wobbly. And I'm like, no. But there was definitely those conversations of, let's just get it done. Let's just get it done. Let's just get that desperation. And the flow was not there. And it's like, let's just leave it. Yeah. Let's literally just leave it. And as it is, it's my daughter's bed. And in another 6 weeks, she moves out of where she is in the Air Force to go to another place. So she's probably going to want to say, Mum, can I have that bed back? I'm going to go, no, let me just buy you a new one, because if you knew what we had to go through for this bed.
No, it can't move.
I know. So probably in 6 weeks' time, people, you're going to hear me talk about the bed, how we had to dismantle it and get a new one for the so she could have her bed back, because at the moment she's in barracks. But flow is really important when you lead from the heart.
That's when you know that it's coming from your heart. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I say to people, you can't push a wet noodle.
No.
And people go, what? And then I'm going, now visualize a wet noodle, push it, and you can see it. That is not flow. That noodle goes this way, it sometimes jumps back, and you're left with,
falls off onto the floor.
I know, and you're left with, and you just go straight. Go straight ahead. Just, why can't the simple thing be so simple? And I think those things are exactly part of it, is the flow. Don't push that wet noodle. Don't force anything. Just, if it works, it works. And that is definitely leading from the heart. Yep. You can put your head in there and go strategy wise, what's the best way? But you need to, it's wise to just shut down and just reassess everything. Look at all the options.
I think it's such a valuable piece of advice that when things are in flow, you might get an obstacle. You know, my favorite saying that you use is obstacles are on your way, not in your way. So guaranteed there's going to be some things that are a little bit like, oh, here's an issue, I've got to overcome this, or I've got to figure this out. But if it's one after the other, to me, that means stop. Stop.
Yes. And that's what we were doing with the bed. It was just like, just stop.
There's something else that you could, as much better use of your leading from the heart energy can be flowed with and taken care of. And then when the timing's right, you can go back to that issue, and more often than not, it will just click into place. Your example with the bed thing is just perfect.
And it was, and like I told Moira off air, what we actually did after the bed got put together, we did, the mother-in-law who would drive 45 minutes to go home actually stayed the night, and we had such an amazing,
a beautiful bonding time,
girls fun night that we would not have had if we had put the bed together one other time, because it wouldn't have been in our thought to go, just stay the night, there's a bed here, you put the bed up, let's see, you test it with your skinny little weight. If you can get on there and it's going to work. But you see the other part of that story that you shared is that you were all feeling so harmonious and flowing that it spilled on, and you all did want to spend more time, as opposed to if it had just get it done. Your relating would have been frazzled and. Well, desperation is such a, I'm going to say desperation is such an ugly trait, and it can move you to a different state because we do get desperate and we do get ourselves in frazzle mode, and we do. But when you're desperate, jack shite actually happens.
Absolutely.
Because you're trying to force something, which we know.
But you're trying to say, I'm the boss. I'm the controller, and when you forgot that you're co-creating.
That's your ego, isn't it?
You're co-creating. It reminds me of an article, a blog post that I did. It was a long time ago. I'll have to see if I can find it. But it was basically saying, can you shift from desperation to inspiration? Right. So in desperation, like you say,
that's a great one.
Not much gets done because it's just like think about law of attraction. If you're in desperation, what are you attracting? More things to make you desperate.
I know. And I'm just going to say, when you're on that desperation train, you're hurling down the hill at such excessive speed, and you just have to hold on because you don't know what's around the corner. And then you get another lesson. and another experience and another warning, and then you're just like, well, I'm on this train now, I'm just going to go. No, just jump off, jump off and let the train go, and then do it. And and that's it. So when we lead from the heart, you must lead from your heart, not
and
someone
be inspired.
else's.
Be inspired. That's the whole point we're just saying, right? Shifting from desperation to inspiration means, okay, this thing's spiraling out of control, or I don't have the solution, so therefore it's not for me to find right now, so I'm going to take inspired action and feel good.
Yeah, well, see, I'm a firm believer on glitter. I call it a glitter bomb.
Yes.
GLITTER. And if you're not
glitter bombs,
as I look at both our nails,
yes,
if you're not glitter bombing yourself, you must delegate it or just stop and assess.
Yes.
Like, this is not for me. I know my genius.
Mm-hmm.
And my genius is not putting a bed together, seeing what screws go with what and how to do this. That's not my genius. And I can definitely do it. It's going to take me 10 times the amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And just the whole thought of it actually just drains me, even saying it. Get bed together, have to get on my knees, have to get off, have to figure this part goes with this, have to lay it all out. I don't want to do that. I will just stick to my zone of genius, and it works. Whereas people go, Deborah, I do like yourself, you get up and you do weekly videos on your social media and other places.
Mm-hmm.
And someone said to me, oh, I could never do that. I'm like, oh, I just do it. I just went, well, someone said you have to do it. So I was like, oh, okay, I have to do it. Think about that I needed to watch what I say or do. I just got on and just started doing it. Yeah, now I do it every week and I don't think of it. But that's my zone of genius, is I can do that.
A quick wee message before we get back to this episode. You can get access to a special gift Moira and Debz have put together for you. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift. When you sign up, you'll receive instant access to an inner peace kit and the 30 Days of Wisdom program, both of which is intended to help you feel deliciously motivated right away. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift.
But somebody else's can go into, oh, that's not my thing, I could never do that, how do you do that? And that's okay. And so, because I light up, that's my glitter bomb.
Yeah.
But if you're sitting there and you're in sweats and you can't, and you freeze when that's not your glitter bomb, that's not your thing. So train yourself to do it, or delegate that and find something else that lights you up. So it's all about what lights you up, is definitely leading from the heart. And I'm not talking about pom-pom. I'm not talking about pom-pom moments. I'm talking
about your genius.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What flows.
But just to pick up on your point there is that you can look at, like, the example you're saying about the person saying, oh, I couldn't do that. And you're saying, well, maybe train yourself to do it. But train yourself if you want to. But train yourself to try it on. I like to think of this as trying on your favorite clothing in your favorite boutique store.
Yeah.
Trying it on. So maybe trying on doing these videos, or recording some kind of audio, or whatever it is you're thinking of. Try it on. And then, and this is my analogy, is once you try it on, then you look at the full-length mirror in that boutique and say, how do I feel? Does this suit me? Do I feel comfortable? Do I feel confident? Do I feel like I'm in my zone of genius, or in my glitter bomb moment? To your point, right?
Yeah.
And because sometimes we might aspire to, like you're saying, and like you, I was told, I can't remember what coach told me, get on in front of camera and start doing it, because it was a long time ago. And I'm like, okay, off I go. And I feel good. I actually really enjoy it, right? But for some people, that's going to be the click. But for other people, it's not. And that's okay, because that means there's something else that other people can do. Opera singing, and I would never try and say, hey, that's it, I'm going to try that on. Or I might try it on, but then go, yeah, no, that's not me.
Yeah, no, that's not. And I just looked down at my notes, and our first point we talked about was lead from your heart, not others.
Yes.
And that's that other thing, and going on camera can be intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
It totally can. Mm-hmm. But I was just told this is what, and so I'm a little bit, well, you can say gullible or trusting or whatever you want to call it. Someone said to me, you just go on camera. This is how you set it up. It's very simple. Bang, bang, do these 3 things, and you just go on camera and you talk, and then you end. And I was like, oh, that's easy. So I literally went, okay, I'll do that. And I started the next day.
Right.
And to me, it just sounded like, oh, that's what I'll do. Now, and someone said, do you ever go back and listen? I'm like, no, I don't like my voice. I don't like the way I look. And, no. There's a million things. I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just here to deliver the content. So someone actually said to me the other day, what's the tip if you don't like looking at yourself or hearing what you say? And I'm like, well, just put a piece of paper over once you get yourself positioned in your camera, put a piece of paper over yourself. And so all you're doing is you're just talking to a piece of paper, or you're talking to your camera thing. Yeah. And they're like, can you do that? I'm like, yeah, you just zoom it to the side so you can still see the comments that come up if you want, but you don't have to look at yourself. No. You don't have to listen to it. And they're like, but that's really easy. I'm like, it can be easy.
Can be. Yeah, I don't look at myself
the other
either.
Thing is, no, I don't. I know. Mm-mm. It's because we overcomplicate things, and I keep it simple.
Yeah.
Keep life is simple. It doesn't, like, I know last week was probably one heck of a week for me emotionally with a lot going on. Mm-hmm. And every time I touch something, like I'd walk into a room and I'd turn the light on and one bulb would go and I go, oh my God. And so that wasn't simple. It was just like, oh God, another bulb. I've got to get up the ladder. I've got to find out what bulb that is. And, and so it wasn't just a bulb. It's like, oh, a bulb. But in my head, it just went, oh, there's an expense. I've got to find the ladder. I've got to get up the ladder with my move.
Not another thing I have to do.
I know. So I wasn't grateful and going, oh, there's a bulb gone. Okay, that's easy. I must get another bulb. Mm-hmm. As I look at these big 5 fluorescent bulbs in my office going, when I have to replace these, they're going to be a problem. One will probably go by next week by now, as I say that. But I mean, just keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate things. Just, keep things simple. Don't get yourself frazzled on that cray train.
Absolutely. But something else is coming to my awareness as we're talking about this. And this is threaded through so many different episodes that we've talked about, is this thing about comparing ourselves to other people.
Yeah.
Because that propensity to not allow ourselves to just keep it simple is like, oh my God, but so-and-so does it like this. And oh, that person has
that's just
this. And oh my God. And
I'm shaking my head. And
that's just not good use of your energy. And it's not you allowing yourself to check in with your heart and lead from your heart, because you're actually driving yourself crazy listening to all the voices in your head and all the different comparatives that's going on. Like, I need to be like that person. I need to show up like that person. I'm not going to be successful unless I do it like this.
That's so true. It's so true. And we do have the odd client who comes to us and who's infatuated with our podcast. Oh, can you teach us how to do a podcast? If one of my clients ever said to me, can you teach me how to do a podcast? I go, no. I just sign up every week and talk to Moira. She does the back end of it. Like, don't ask me. You've got to find someone who's in that genius. That's Moira's genius. I'm not going to say, Moira, let me take that off you. Moira would just laugh at me. I don't even think she'd even give me any passwords for stuff. I don't even know if I've got passwords for anything. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that because she knows it takes me so long to do like that.
That's a really good, interesting point, because if somebody came and asked me if I could train them, I'd also say no. The reason being is, yes, I do the back end and have this set up, but I've learned as I went and I've done it on the fly, and I'm actually really technically savvy.
She's way more. I thought I was technically savvy till I met Moira, till I met my daughter, till I met all those things.
It's not still have your own genius. That's why we all get to do that.
And I think that's that. So I know we've talked about having the right team around, and it is having that right team around. And so when you're leading from the heart, and we talk about comparing, remember it's your heart.
That's right.
And not others. but get the right team on board that are inspired to do stuff. I've talked about my gardener, although she hasn't come to our new house, who does come to the new house, but hasn't come yet. But she was amazing. You could actually write down from tasting. She'd come to you and she'd say, what do you like? What would you like me to plant? And I go, I don't know. She'd go, what foods do you like? And I'd tell her the stuff and she'd go, okay, well, that's not going to happen till April. This is better to plant in November. This is better to plant, So and she would go out and buy those things for the garden, and she would love it. She would go on an excursion, she'd plant them, and she'd buy with love, she'd plant them with love, she'd nurture them with love, and we would eat it with love. I'd just get the reward at the end. But I loved it because it just lit her up doing it. And they're the people are great to have around.
Absolutely.
because they're the ones who love what they do. Like if you get me on a client call, I'm going to love talking to you because there's going to be things. And the same with Moira. Like I love my podcast, no matter what's going on around me. I love knowing I'm talking to Moira.
Yeah.
Even if we're not going to do a podcast, Moira's soothing voice calms my farm straight away. But they are those things. So make sure your team are loving what they do. And if you don't love it, delegate it. You've got to delegate it. I don't want to get in the garden. Oh my God. I messaged her the other day and I said, we've got strawberries here and Ben, our dog, is constantly peeing on them.
Oh yeah.
I was waiting on her to say a solution and she said, that's all right. She says, we can build some stuff around that. And she said, but in the meantime, don't go picking any strawberries.
Yeah, don't eat any of the strawberries.
Yeah. And I was like, well, there is none because it's cold. And I'm not bending down touching that because I see. But it was just, and you just know she loves it. And I can ask her something and she can go, oh, that tree's a thingy and that's going to go from that. And she's a wealth of knowledge.
Right.
I don't have that skill. I don't want that skill.
So her zone of genius. And when we get into that because you're empowering and gifting her the ability to do that, and you're freeing yourself up to do what lights you up. Right?
I know. And well, when we moved from our other house, I mean, one of the things I did miss, apart from the fire right now, is leaving them with a garden of good vegetables that'll be about now ready to eat. I should go raid the garden in the middle of the night. Maybe not. But it is part of that. That is her zone of genius. And people who have their zone of genius. And you watch people who do these videos and you just go, wow, they know what they're talking about. You can all have your zone of genius. So just what do they say? Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. Yes. Stay
in your lane. Don't deviate out. If this is your zone of genius, don't compare to others and go, oh, I want that, I want that, I want that. But when you do something, and I'm going to say this, how you talked about the podcast, if I said to you, Moira, how do I do this? Give me a manual step-by-step how you do this. You have to think, because most of us do it, you get up in the morning, you go to the toilet, you use the same amount of squares on the toilet paper, you clean your teeth, you do whatever, and you do it in such a flow that you don't even stop to think. And you get out in the car and you're driving away and you're like, did I lock that front door? And you go back and you go, of course I locked that front door, because it's just
it's that pattern. Yeah.
And it's such a flow that you don't even have to go, oh, have I done this? Do I need a checklist?
Exactly.
Have I done this? Have I done this? Because checklists are not flow.
Nope.
I have checklists, I can assure you of that, but checklists are not flow. And it's that flow and keeping things simple.
I think checklists can be part of a flow just because it kind of gets all of those items out of your head. I'm a big believer in checklists.
Oh, if you could see the notes on my phones.
Get them down on a piece of paper and then flow into and allow yourself that beautiful, brush your teeth, for me, it's brush my teeth and then go do some Qigong and then do some meditating. And it's just flowing into, I think that's a really, really important piece around this lead from your heart, is to have a ritual or a routine to ease into your day. Whatever that is. It can be doing some affirmations, some gratitude, some blessing the water you
whatever
drink.
Works for you.
Doesn't matter what it is, it has to work for you. Yeah. But that is just such a beautiful way. I do have a set pattern of how I like to set this is like setting my energy for the day. And then whatever happens, and I can completely capable of dealing with it. But I've taken that time in the morning to nurture myself, to feel into what we talk about, the PEMS, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. I've done something to address each one of those pillars in myself, which actually allows me to get my own intuitive hits so much easier. My own guidance comes from that, right?
Yeah, I love, look, I mean, this is just, I love this conversation, because when we say lead from the heart, I actually want to say we know the heart is there and we know that the heart is beating and all those things, but it's really actually lead from the soul, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because the heart is definitely that.
It is. I think for myself, when I'm talking about this idea of lead from the heart, there are some philosophies that call the heart the seat of the soul. Because it's kind of like where the soul,
I like that,
animates this physical. So to me, when I'm talking about, yes, come from your heart, where you're coming from the seat of your soul.
Yeah, I actually like that, the seat of the soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just thinking just then, I was thinking heart. We say heart,
Mm-hmm.
and it's, and you know, lead from the heart. But I just want to just check that people actually know that is.
Yeah.
And when you lead from that, the seat of the soul,
The seat of the soul,
the
but
heart,
also love-based, right?
Yep.
I think that's the other part of lead from the heart. It's love-based.
Yeah. I've got a few tips here.
Mm-hmm.
I've only got a few that I've summed up. So if I've missed, I'm just gonna recap everything now. But if I've missed something, Moira, jump in. But also, to the listeners, if I've missed something, let us know in the comments. You know, let us know what I've missed, and we'll because I bang it out there. So I've got to stop using that word. We'll put it up. I did that on my face. I was
Fill in the blanks.
Bang it down, and then I went, no, maybe that's not the word to be using. Started getting hysterical. So these are the tips I've got. So when you lead from the heart, number one was your heart, not others.
Yes.
And that's really important.
Super
that
important.
Then jumps into one that Moira just mentioned before, which was comparing with others.
Mm-hmm.
So comparing with others. Number two is decluttering.
Yeah, I like that one.
Decluttering anything and all around you that isn't serving you.
Yeah. So if you're learning something or the new marketing technique or new social media thing, it just come in and listen to it, but then discard the things that don't resonate with you.
Yeah, so that's your intuition as well. Yeah.
Definitely.
Number three, which is quite funny, is the 3 questions, which is this good for me?
Yep.
Is this good for others?
Mm-hmm.
And do I want this?
Yep.
And all 3 have to be in alignment.
Yes. If they're all yes, then you can go for it. But if any one of them's no, it's a no-go. Yeah.
And having that trust that you can actually do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, which we've talked about quite a lot, which is the F word, flow. Can't push a wet noodle. That obstacles are on the way, not in the way.
And to shift from desperation to inspiration.
Yeah. That's those 3. That's actually probably the biggest one of all of them. Maybe not, but I love that. Yeah, I love that one there of the flow. Number 5 is my reference, glitter bomb. Stay in your lane. What is your genius? And I love when Moira said, try it on, and how does it feel?
Yeah.
And that's all part of your glitter bomb. And that's all part of, this feels right, which is a little bit different to the 3 questions.
Yep.
But it definitely has another chunker in there.
It helps you get into your intuitive guidance, those types of questions, right?
Yep. Yeah. Number 6, keep it simple.
KISS method.
Keep it simple.
Simple. It's the KISS.
KISS. Oh, I've never even noticed that. Moira would know that. I wouldn't know that one. And then the very last one is just the heart, is the seat of the soul.
Yeah. So when we're saying
just love based.
lead, love-based. So leading from the heart is leading from your seat of your soul and always based in love. Love it.
So they were my summing up. Is there anything we'd like to add before I wrap it up? I'm wrapping up today, aren't I?
You are, yes. You are. No, I think you did an excellent job. I think you did an excellent job summing that up. That was really cool.
So if we missed anything off that, please put it into the comments. Let us know, because I know that they were just the main ones that I'd picked up. So in saying that, at this very start, when we were leading from the heart, we rated ourselves on a scale of 0 to 10. And we checked in, and you did the check-in halfway. You did it at the start, you checked in halfway, and now we're checking at the end. So listeners, where are you with your number? And Moira, where are you at number? What were you? You were a 1, weren't you?
I was a 1. Yeah. I was a 1.
Yeah.
No, so I'm a 0. I'm a 0. Are you surprised?
No.
Who are you?
I'm actually a 0.5. I would have thought I'd be a 0, but because these notes that I put down here today, there's no mistake I wrote them down. So I myself are just going to check in with these notes on my things that I've got on my list to do today, and make sure that I am at flow and not desperation for anything, because I just feel there's a little thing going on in me. So I think this is a beautiful one. So I'm going to sit at a 0.5, and I'm going to go through these notes and just make sure that I've got a few things checked. So we'd love to know where people moved. So that's us over and out.
That's us walking our talk.
Deliciously motivated mindset conversation with Debz, me, and Moira, you.
Love it.
So thank you, everybody, for joining us. We will see you on our next. You will hear us on our next podcast.
Absolutely. Much love to you. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.